Yeah, of course he's gonna ask what this will do to the tourism industry, because Hawaii is, that's all the care and consideration that we will give to Hawaii. Is like, all right, the people are alive, so how do we, like, what will this do to the tourism industry?
Looks like it. That's the breaking news we begin with this hour, and it is out of Hawaii, where just catastrophic and unprecedented wildfires, as Victor said, have killed at least 36 people. That death toll is in Maui, and it soared overnight. Bodies were found in the ruins. Take a look at what's left of Lahaina. It's a historic town, a very popular vacation spot. The fast-moving inferno wiped out entire neighborhoods, and people jumped into the ocean to escape the flames. The fire was fueled in part by powerful winds from a hurricane. Take a look at this video obtained by our local affiliate. What you can see there is hurricane-force winds whipping palm trees and explosions as a marina and boats go up in flames.
Let's take a look at that devastation on the ground. These are just hulls of homes. The neighborhoods, the businesses burned to the ground. Listen to the survivor describe the situation.
Still get dead bodies in the water floating and on the seawall. They've been sitting there since last night. We've been pulling people out since last night, trying to save people's lives. And I feel like we're not getting the help we need. This is a nationwide issue at this point. Yeah, we need help, a lot of help. We gotta get people down here.
Veronica Miracle joins us live in Maui, where it is the middle of the night, so you haven't even seen the extent of the destruction. We'll see that when the sun comes up. But what can you tell us being on the ground?
That's exactly right, Poppy and Victor. The death toll information also coming in overnight. So many people here on the island of Maui will be waking up to the news that 36 of their community members, loved ones, friends have died. That fire in Lahaina is one of 3 fires currently burning on the island here. Firefighting efforts continue, as well as search and rescue efforts.
Oh my gosh, look at the harbor.
I saw a tweet that the fucking Apple SOS, like the Apple SOS came in clutch. Oh my god. The number is now reached, it's not 36 anymore. It's more than that. It's 53 according to officials, according to the latest reporting on the matter.
View from above is of shock and heartbreak.
Oh my gosh.
We were not prepared for what we saw. It looked like an area that had been bombed in the war.
Wildfires rampaging across the island of Maui.
Our entire street was burned to the ground,
Decimating homes and businesses.
Local people have lost everything. They've lost their house, they've lost their animals, and it's devastating.
Lahaina is on fire.
The historic town of Lahaina, a popular tourist and economic hub on the island's west side, particularly affected with hundreds of structures impacted.
It happened so fast.
Yeah, my brother's girlfriend's cousin and his family were caught in their vehicle in Maui while the wildfire suddenly erupted around them. No cell service, so Apple Emergency SOS was the only way they could get in contact with first responders, literally save their lives. And if you read it, Kaya, off, down, Kaya. He's excited to see my mom, and that's it. That doesn't mean that you can't remedy that situation, and you can certainly remedy that situation without a shock collar. What the fuck are you talking about? Tourism and tourists are clogging up service in West Maui, which is only has one paved road in and out, which is now closed. Hotels are using all the resources and not giving them back to the locals affected by the fires. Our high taxes. Yeah, my brother's Hawaii subsidized the hotels, but we get nothing back, and our infrastructure is shit. They didn't turn the power off quick enough. I was born and raised on Maui. The news has been absolutely devastating. The fires have wiped out an entire historic town that I have spent a lot of my life in. Several hundred families have lost their homes. Some ways to help are through the Maui Fire Relief Fund Form, Aloha United Way, and the Maui Strong Fund from Hawaii Community Foundation, or the Maui Mutual Aid Fund. Yeah, it is pretty devastating.
People stuck in traffic trying to get out, and there's flame on both sides.
There was a before and after photo side by side, which is crazy. Banyan tree in, I'm going to say it wrong, Lahaina? Did I say it right? Smoldering at the base, but still standing, just about the only thing left other than the lighthouse. Lahaina. Is it Lahaina? These used to be so beautiful. Look at what they used to look like before the fire. There's a before and after photo that's absolutely insane.
It's the road, like something out of a horror movie.
Most of the fires on Maui fueled in part by violent winds caused by Hurricane Dora, churning more than 800 miles away. Those winds now subsiding as the storm pushes away.
The primary focus is to save lives and then to prevent human suffering and to mitigate great property loss.
State Department crews assisting in efforts to restore communication across the islands and distribute water, with military helicopters aiding in extinguishing the fires.
2 CH-47 supporting Maui County. They flew 13 hours, did 58 drops and about 150,000 gallons of water to assist with suppression of the fire.
Recovery will be a long road ahead,
this is what I saw.
According to Hawaii's Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke.
The damage to the infrastructure, it's not just buildings. I mean, these were small businesses that invested in Maui. These were local residents. And, we need to figure out a way to help a lot of people in the next several years.
And 11,000 people were flown out of Maui yesterday. Another 1,500 people expected to leave today. Airlines are offering reduced fares. They're also increasing the number of flights. They're trying to get people out. Officials are also asking people to cancel their plans to not come here. They want to save the resources for those who desperately need it. Victor, Poppy.
Veronica Miracle, thank you for that reporting from Maui.
Joining us now is pilot and director of operations for Air Maui Helicopters, is Richie Olson. Richie, can you hear me? It looks like we have a bit of an image problem. You can hear me good? Okay. All right. We'll figure the pictures out.
Yeah.
Good. The images we're seeing from Maui, the damage is catastrophic. We understand that. But as someone who has flown over Maui for more than 50 years, what does it feel like to see it this way?
Well, when we went up in the air the other morning to see what kind of damage there might have been, we never suspected that we'd see what we saw. We thought that from the previous night, we were watching the news and seeing some fires in Lahaina and so forth, and we thought that we would see some damage. But as we approached the south shore, the south end of Lahaina, and proceeded to head up the coast, we were devastated by what we saw. It was just... It was heartbreaking because I've lived here most of my life, and the entire town of Lahaina was burnt to the ground. The entire historic area, Front Street, all the shops, people's homes, hundreds of homes. It was the other pilots that were with me to view this. We looked at each other in disbelief. We could not believe what we were seeing. It was shocking, heartbreaking, and our heart goes out to so many people that are displaced and homeless at this time.
And we're looking at some of your video now. We've spoken to a couple of guests here who are still looking for family members, hoping to hear from friends. Are all of your friends and family members there accounted for?
They are. Yesterday at work, we had some employees that weren't able to get in touch with some of their family members, but they have now been found and contacted. But, this is a long-term situation here. These people that lost their homes, we have over 600 people in the War Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, a bunch of people, lucky people, survived by jumping in the water. Some also did not survive despite jumping in the water, as far as I understand. Like, it's fucking nuts. It's just hellfire all around.
Jim, we have people in our churches seeking refuge, and they have no place to go. They're going to have some kind of temporary housing set up for these people. It's a disaster like Hawaii has never seen.
Yeah. And listen, I'll preface this by saying it is a secondary or tertiary consideration after life and the homes that people have lost, every tangible thing they have. But Maui relies upon tourism. You are in the tourism industry. And what this means for business and the ability to sustain this community. When you look at the destruction, how long and how badly has the community been hit and hurt?
Yeah, of course he's gonna ask what this will do to the tourism industry, because Hawaii is, that's all the care and consideration that we will give to Hawaii. Is like, all right, the people are alive, so how do we, like, what will this do to the tourism industry?
Oh, I don't know that Lahaina itself will actually recover from this situation, especially with the loss of the historic area of the downtown and Front Street and all the shops and businesses where all the local people that live there.
The real issue, in my opinion, here that I don't know why he's not asking is like what the rebuilding process is going to look like, and who's going to be doing the rebuilding process, and whether or not this will lead to locals once again getting priced out from their own homes once they're, once this happened.
That work, hundreds and hundreds of people that work in that Lahaina town area, that it's just leveled to the ground, dust and ashes at this time. So this is going to be a long-term recovery for the economy for the entire island, let alone Lahaina itself.
Well, Richie, it's a little after 2 a.m. There, and I hope that we can reach out to you again if you go back up and get more pictures showing us what is there. Poppy just spoke with John Kirby from the White House saying that there is federal help on the way. We're all thinking of you there in Hawaii. Richie Olston, thank you so much.
Building process from hell. Woolsey Fire of November 2018 destroyed at least 500 homes in my hood. Have my friends that lost homes that can't afford to rebuild. I feel like this is getting way more coverage than Puerto Rico during Hurricane Maria, and they're already acknowledging the recovery is going to be long-term. Way to be, USA. Well, one's a state, the other is a territory, and so in their minds, there's a difference, like automatically, even though there shouldn't be. The other is like, I don't know. Tourism comment was goofy, but for Maui, especially tourism is 80% of their economy and also 75% of all private sector jobs on the island. So I understand it. Yeah. State, isn't Hawaii illegally occupied? Yes, but it is a state. I doubt that people actually label Hawaii a state. Wait, what are you guys talking about? It absolutely is a state. What are we doing? What? It's one of the states, guys. It's definitely, it's treated like a state. It's treated like a tourism destination, and for much of the islands, it is just simply a tourism destination. Puerto Rico is, I mean, we're now comparing like which island is treated worse. The major difference between Hawaii and Puerto Rico is one is a territory, the other one's a state. When you're an actual state, you have congresspersons that represent the interests of your state. They might not do a good job at it, but it's still better than just being a territory, simply a territory. Okay? It doesn't matter. Like, that's why there is definitely a difference between, that's why there's definitely a difference, you are correct, between how devastating this wildfire was and what the recovery looks like in comparison to how devastating Irma was and what the recovery looked like. Yeah, there are also important legal distinctions like how/why you can get funding from the federal government. Putting it in another way, Hawaii is like a terrible rent control department, while Puerto Rico is like a plantation. Not even a rent control department, but it's just the tourism destination and military bases for in the eyes of Americans. Puerto Rico has Congress people, they just don't get votes. Okay, dude. It's kind of important. It plays a major role in how the American government decides what to do with Puerto Rico. You understand that, right? Puerto Ricans, that they're just like a state. That's why their power stayed off for 70 days. Yeah. as far as I understand, I mean, they already covered it, but as far as I understand, the hurricane winds carried over the fires, which became a much larger issue. I don't think this is like sabotage or anything like that. There were some people floating that idea. The notion that it was beams is also not correct. The estimation is that upwards of 1,700 buildings have been destroyed. Originally, it was 36 deaths. Now they're saying it's 53. It's probably going to go up. Appear to make the wildfire that torched the historic town of Lahaina the second deadliest blaze in the United States in a century. It trails only California's Camp Fire, which killed 85 people in 2018. The fire was 80% contained by Thursday morning. While survivors recall harrowing escapes by car or boat, many residents who fled still don't know whether their homes and businesses have been reduced to ashes. Among them is Dustin Calipo, whose home in Lahaina was destroyed. My colleague's friends, family were all homeless. We're hoping that the death toll does not rise too much higher. Billions of dollars in losses. Dozens are dead. Well, 53. Biden has approved disaster declaration, which frees up federal aid to assist in the recovery of Maui County. 50 people jumped in the ocean to escape, and they were picked up by the Coast Guard. Initial reports suggest that about 100 people fled in the water, and the Coast Guard is still looking for survivors or possibly victims who might not have survived in the ocean. But so far, we've not received a report of any deceased or any additional survivors for us to recover. A historic town completely wiped out, and some are still unaccounted for. Thousands do not have cell phone service. It could take days or even weeks to fix the cell phone networks in Maui. The officials have been using satellite phones to communicate with providers on the west side of Maui to restore power to the area. Power outages are continuing, and there's not enough long-term shelter. Maui County officials have urged visitors to leave Lahaina and Maui as soon as possible, saying seats were available on outgoing flights. Roughly 1,400 people stayed at the airport overnight Wednesday waiting for flights out, county officials reported. Airlines have increased capacity, and they have dropped their fares and increased service. Southwest dropped its fares, like the prices of their fares. Hospitals are overwhelmed with burn patients. Here is what the difference looks like. Satellite images taken on June 25th and August 9th. Just completely fucking reduced to nothing. Fanned by, in part by fierce winds from Hurricane Dora passing hundreds of miles to the south, the wildfires on Maui, to a lesser extent, Hawaii's Big Island, ignited and spread Tuesday. This is Hawaii's third most populated island. Yeah. The ongoing drought in Hawaii worsened over the past week, helping the fire spread. This is an ongoing issue with how climate change increases the magnitude of wildfires as well in California. It makes the wildfire season grow longer as well. The more ferocious the winds, the quicker the spread of the wildfires. The more drier the vegetation, the easier it is to spark a tinder and create a wildfire. It's one of those situations where it's hard to look at it and go, well, I don't get it. Like, why did this happen? How can climate change account for this? Power lines kept failing. Winds were 60 plus from Hurricane Dora. The fire spread so fast, most had no time to get out. Anyway, yeah, that's the situation. I will look up places to donate, like adequate resources to donate to, and I'll come back to you guys with that. I know that a lot of people are linking linking stuff in the chat. But yeah, I'll give you guys more resources later. All right. Utah man accused of threatening President Biden has been killed in an FBI raid. Let's see if there's additional information. I'm also going to run the top of the hour ad break here. Okay, here it is.
Violent confrontation in Utah where this man is named.